anniversary, the Lincoln Center discussion panel. That's right, 40 years, you know. So I'm going to introduce them one at a time. All the way to my left, to your right, we have the Prince himself, representing VII Gems, Ken Swift. And to his right, the man that introduced me to the life that I have now, the former leader of Dynamic Rockers, Glyde.
The kid in the
back. He's back. Alright, so right here, next to his right, we have one of the founders of Rocksteady Crew. The man himself, Jojo! And a dynamic rocket that was there at the LincolnCenter Battle. Give it up for Jess. She has fans, that's what's up. Alright, so we're here to have a discussion. Alright, we have only 40 minutes, so everybody, that's on the panel, please keep it to 5 minutes, try to get to the point as soon as you can, so that we can get through as many questions as possible. Alright, but I'm gonna give you guys a warm-up question. Alright, so the battle. What was the strategy? What was your strategy? And did it work? If you have one. Who wants to answer that? Alright, Glyde.
Mine was to bring...
I actually do this for a living. Mine was to bring, different things. Like, we had a 6-year-old kid who was doing one-shots. And they're like, what the hell? My thing was to get you guys pissed off and get you out of your game. Because that's what battling is to me, is to get you out of your game. To do things that bother you. It's like, all that. So, it worked. Okay.
Former members of Rocksteady, anybody had a strategy? Jojo.
I didn't really have a strategy. When I came down there, it was like, first of all, I was surprised to see another team that looked so good. You guys were dressed clean, shirts were nice, we had things written on the shirts and all that, so I knew that we was going to be in for a good battle. So that's what I was looking forward to. Some sort of good battle that we can all enjoy and show the world this dance, and that's what we did.
Alright. Ken Swift, do you have an answer?
I don't think we had a strategy. We just, we were prepared. One thing that stands out is, we make sure that our routines was on point and just, we knew there was going to be a time to throw. A memorable one is the 4-corner hot swipe to one shot. We take one little left and little crazy legs. We do it at one point in the battle, but I don't think it was a strategy. We just went in and battle, you know what I'm saying? Just followed suit as things progressed.
Alright. Jess, do you have any answers?
Well, I didn't have a strategy, but I was definitely there to take in the moment, and absorb everything that was happening and just do the best that I could at the time.
Alright, keep it up, guys.
Where's the link again?
Yeah, another answer?
Where's the link?
Oh, it's live now.
Oh, the link.
Yeah.
Alright, if you guys want, you can share the link. It's on B-Boy Network on the YouTube. This is streaming live. What's up, everybody? Alright, so now let's go to some questions. Alright, so I knew there was B-girls back then, but in the LincolnCenter Battle, I didn't really know that they played a big part. And after hearing some of your stories, I was like, oh, there were B-girls in there. So, was it something that was normal and not mentioned, or was it like there wasn't that many B-girls? Like, what was it? Like, how was the experience of having B-girls in the community, but especially that battle? Jojo.
I think it was an added attraction for us, because most of the B-girls wasn't really getting their respect back then, and they had to work harder. I was definitely a supporter of the B-girls anyway. But from what I've experienced, that most of the B-girls needed to work harder to be a part of you know, because this was a male-dominated dance at one point. So you girls had to fit your way in, and I think the best way for you to fit in was to, you be the guy with sections, you know, sections class, you know, while you're dancing. That can serve somebody, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it comes in different, you know, different images. So I think that the B-girl, you know, had a rough start, but today, I'm very proud to say that the B-girls are part of this dance.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Well, being a B-girl, I think there were lots of challenges. Like the gentleman said, we were definitely, you know, not in the forefront as women are today. You know, we certainly didn't have the voice. We took our lead from the guys, you know, and when they would let us in and let us do our little dance and have our moment, you know, it was amazing. It was amazing, and I'm just so happy that today, you know, we have B-girls representing, you know, all over, you know, the world. And I was really happy to see girls here, you know, doing their thing, you know, earlier today. So it's still alive and it's strong as hell.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, as far as Rocksteady, so we had girls down with us, like it was just the girls that hung out, so it was like, it wasn't like Rocksteady girls, you know what I'm saying? But everybody knew there was Rocksteady. Now the thing about the girls, it wasn't really like, it was pretty early, and one thing I would say about all of them, they were really good dancers in general, like the current dancers or whatever was popular, whatever it was. The breaking wasn't that much. There was a few, you know, we had Baby Love Daisy, we had Lady Rock, that was my girlfriend when I was a kid. They had been Janet too. It's been Janet from the Bronx, from up on Patron. Well, she wasn't there, but it would have been nice if she would have been there. But downtown around Manhattan, most of the girls they hung out with all of us. They would try a little move here and there, but it wasn't like they were practicing on a regular basis. So to follow what you guys said, it's beautiful, man. You know, the females that took the courage, man, after all these years to just not, you know, just jump in it and just really elevate it to where it's at right now. So I agree with you guys. It's beautiful to see that anything we can do, they can do. That's that.
Well, I treated the girls just like the fellas. They had to practice.
It's the truth, you did.
I was a dual set sergeant. Just be here, you gotta practice, you gotta do these routines, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, you gotta do this. Because what to me, this was a world, like, life-changing. It was real, and I knew it was gonna be huge, and it was, yeah, they had to practice, or you get fined. Equal opportunity.
This is amazing to hear, because like a lot of B-girls from back in the day, we don't really like hear about them a lot. You know what I'm saying? We're not really connected to them. And I think it would help the B-girls nowadays if they were still connected to those B-girls, you know, because not a lot of them around. We have you guys, all the B-boy legends, you know what I'm saying? But I think if there's any way to get in contact with them and have them share their story, I think it would help a lot with the community now that's going on right now. That's my take. Okay. All right, my next question. How does it feel to see what breaking is 40 years later?
Amazing. I think it's amazing. I mean, to see it all over the world. I mean, you could be looking at a cartoon, a Walt Disney cartoon like Shrek, you know, and you see the three pigs, right? And then you see one pig come out and do a backspin. You know, like in the 30s, you would have never seen a pig come out and do a backspin in a cartoon. You know what I'm saying? So that just shows you that this dance is very popular. For them to even think about putting that in a motion picture, just to exhibit that move, you know what I'm saying? On a cartoon, you know? So to see the dance where it is today, it makes me feel like a proud grandfather, you know? I've been around for a long time. There's a few gentlemen here that's been around, and I've seen the ladies around here, ladies in the building, you know? And we're all here, we've been here forever, you know? And to see this dance being passed on to the next generation, and the next generation getting a hold of it and doing it the right way is the best.
I think that the moves are ridiculously crazy and just, you know, they're over there somewhere. But I think that the culture, part of it is being missed. And we need to talk about that. You know, people just jump in and spit without doing footwork or top rock or anything like that. They wait, you go, no, you go. That's like, B-boying is battling, it's a fight. right? You're not gonna let somebody punch you in the face. No, you go first. Yeah, punch you in the face. No. So you gotta go in there and attack. We never waited. Like, we would fight to get in there. Like, the circle was ours, we were gonna own it, and we would fight to get in there. And I also think that this generation and the old generation are, like, you know, misfiring, and we need to unite so that we can leave a legacy, because someday most of us won't be here. So we need to leave a clean story of how this was. You know, and the old generation with our egos and whatever, blah, 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 not all of us are like that. We genuinely want the culture to grow. You know, we're the first ones that showed the world, you know, hip hop. We introduced hip hop first, before rappers and everything. And we are the ones that get paid the least amount of money. Here we're doing it again with the Olympics. You know, they're coming in there, and now they're bringing in the DJs with them, and the graffiti guys and the MCs are going to go in there again. And we have to figure out how it's a career for us. So the dancing is amazing. Another thing is that the crews are not crews. They're like, hey, let's all dance together. No, get your crew. Get your freaking crew. You know, there's something in there. So yes, the dancing is ridiculous. The moves are, and we're not even halfway. I'm sure somebody's gonna be spinning on one finger soon. But we dreamt about that. Like me and Wavy Legs were talking about, yeah, we gotta spin on one finger. Shut up, Wavy Legs, you're crazy. But he tried, and so I'm sure people are gonna do that. I'm proud of where it is. You know, my son has done a lot. You know, some of the old school people, you know, they teach well. I know that Kenny goes out there and tries to help people as much as he can. And I mean, it's amazing. It's our baby, and she's doing okay.
She'll be okay.
All right, next question. All right, being in this battle, you know, firsthand, what do you feel happened in this battle that changed the game? And what did you bring in this battle at that moment you can see now change the game?
I would say recognition, you know, first off, the battle coming to Lincoln Center, you know, the attention that was brought, the audience that came, you know, I believe that made a big difference, because it showed at least myself, and I feel our crew, that there was more, we were hungry. After Lincoln Center, we were hungry, we wanted more. You know, we were like, we can do better, we can do more, we can do whatever we want to do. And that still stands for today. Put your mind to it, you can do anything that you want. So I feel that for me was, in my mind, at that age, what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's important to mention Lincoln Center Out of Doors. They were responsible for putting this together. The beauty of it is that we were the main thing. You know, it was all about us. And, you know, a lot of times, even at that time, it's hard to even get noticed sometimes because it's so radical. The dance is so crazy. They think it's just aggressive blacks and Puerto Ricans going crazy. But they gave us the spotlight. They gave us on top of the fountain. They built the stage, you know. And, you know, Martha has pictures of this event, and you see the crowd. And sometimes I see the crowd, and I didn't even know there was that many people there.
Yeah, it's on every view, and it's...
So, you know, they are still in effect too. Lincoln Center Out of Doors still does their festivals. They do salsa, they do all types of stuff in Lincoln Center. So it's a beautiful thing. It's carrying a tradition. And to speak about it 4 years later is really interesting, because it shows that this is a proven dance. We still exist because it's an incredible dance. It's not, we all did this. The reason why this is incredible and people want it is because we are incredible. We are the art. And we can never forget that. We sustained this art to this point. We saved our money to got by a turntable. Our boy knows the speaker. We did this for 40 plus years. Got together and scraped our legs around to make it happen. When nobody was giving us anything. You know, so we all, no matter how far it goes or where it goes, you know what I'm saying, that opportunity at that time was crazy to have that platform. You know, the New York Times covered it on August 10th. We did a photo shoot with the New York Times and the Daily News. I have those articles, those periodicals, you could find them. And they covered it. So now we got press. I mean, what? that was huge. You know, it contributed to people starting to
We legitimized.
get
that
awareness to, and it wasn't. Look, it was legitimate, two legitimate crews with skills. It wasn't no fluke. You know what I'm saying? It was the time for us to go at it. We hadn't been at it before, correct? So it was the time. We were bubbling at that time, and it was like, you know, when the opportunity came, we all took it serious. You know what I'm saying? And as much fun as it was, we knew what was at stake. Our reputations, you know what I'm saying? Our neighborhoods, you know, our friends and our families. You know, our mother was there in the audience. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, reflecting on that, I was about maybe 15, 16 years old. Yeah, and it was just a great time. So LincolnCenter Outdoors, yes, once again, providing that platform helped to elevate it to where it is now.
I mean, there's people here that were young and saw that and went back and started dancing. My man over there, actually, I love that guy. Yeah, he saw it and he's like, I want to do this. And, you know, there's a lot of people that saw that. And they saw it on the news, and then they saw it on That's Incredible. And they were like, what is this? I mean, to me, it was everything. And we came prepared. I mean, we had, you know, I'm pretty obnoxious. If you don't know me, I'll let you know I'm pretty obnoxious. We had 5 different colors for our crew, but we all had the same suit, the doc suits, but there was like, the girls had a color, the younger generation had a different color. You know, the top teams, the vice president, everybody had different colors. So, you know, we wanted to have an organization. I think I was like, what, 17 years old? If that, something like that. You know? And we were thinking, I mean, I was the boss, and I was getting us around the world. We traveled the world, and it was incredible. For me, instantly, man, it was just, and that to me is the Mecca. It was beautiful to do that. It was huge. When they said LincolnCenter, I was like, whoa. I lived across the street from it, you know? It was amazing.
Wow. 16, 15, 17, changing the game, changing the world. I'm saying that's what hip hop is. It's amazing. To mention LincolnCenter Outdoors, this year we will be celebrating 40 years at the LincolnCenter, September 11th. It'll be Dynamic Rockers versus Floor Lords. So guys, watch out for the info. It's coming up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be official. Well, give them a round of applause, yo.
Yeah.
All right.
And we're gonna give an award to Frosty and my brother. Both of them are rest in peace, but they were important. Both of them were very important. Frosty was a monster, and my brother was an incredible rocker. I mean, incredible, ridiculous, different than anybody else. He was just amazing. And so, you know, we're gonna honor them, right?
Yeah. I mean, Frosty Freeze is the first person he saw break. So dynamic king.
I got some Rocksteady blood.
This is my last question, and we'll go to the audience. All right. What would you change, knowing what you know now? Like, what do you see in our generation that you see that we're missing, that you knew that you were missing back then?
Contracts.
Contracts.
Money,
Contracts. Okay.
Your team.
sponsorship.
Like, you know.
Sponsorship. We definitely didn't have. I feel like I remember we would go and dance wherever we could get. We would go in front of Madison Square Garden and dance. We'd go anywhere that we would think that somebody would see us, you know. So I think that now there's a better platform. So the need to go dancing in the street and stuff like that. Now you actually have places where you can go and, you know, dance. Break dance.
Hello? I actually think that the first generation of B-boys, we actually also were like, because in the beginning, most of the B-boys were kind of like, oh, we were poor kids, you know, we didn't have good clothes, you know, we used to tear and all that. And I think being like the Rocksteady in the beginning, it was about that term fresh came from that image of us B-boys, of keeping our sneakers clean. The only pair of kids I had that everybody thought I had 3 pairs, but only had 1. You should change the laces Anyway, you know, so, I mean, you know, we made the best of what we had, you know, and to see now that, you know, this dance has come, it's gonna be in the Olympics now, and I personally think with that, I think that we should at least have some sort of say in it. You know, I mean, where are they gonna get the information from? I mean, what are they gonna talk about the moves when they start to exhibit these moves in these contests in the Olympics? You know, who's gonna be there to navigate that? You know, who's gonna say where that move came from? Who started that? You know, so they need us. You know, they need all of us, not just me, not just Kenny. All of us leaders, original leaders. You know, to at least have some say or be a part of something. They should actually look for all of us, really, to be honest. To go out there and say, hey, we have to get a whole, all those original moves, they knew who was there to exhibit this dance, so they can express to us and show us more or less how was that to where it is now. You know, so that's what
We need trainers. We need people that, you know, do, you know, taking care of their bodies, you know. And we need lawyers. We need, you know, people to, and we have that in our culture. We have plenty of people that are lawyers, and, you know, we just have to get together and start, you know, like, these kids are going to be doing, the, you know, and who's going to organize them, and how they're going to get a Nike deal. You know, we need people to fight for that. No, you're not going to get that $400. No. We want to, you know, we have to start protecting ourselves and using some of that money that we get to have a place where we can go work together and create more and, you know, bring more in. And it's not just us. We need the next generation too. We got to listen to them, because if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't have continued. We got to listen to them. They got to listen to us. We got to hear each other and work on this and make, you know, and start making a living. You know, we can have schools that people have to go and they have to figure out, you know, we have to give them, you know, some kind of, what is it, like a certificate for them to teach. Because we got people teaching that just because you can stand on your hands doesn't mean you break dance and get out of here with that. It just drives me crazy to watch these people trying to teach hip hop. I'm like, what are you doing? You know, and so we need to do something about that. And we can sit here and talk about it, or we can do something about it, you know. We need more people that run businesses, you know, that can come in and work here, you know, and do different things. We need to. And the kids are getting younger and ridiculous. So, you know, we need to teach them right.
Yeah, I think that the frustrating part for me personally, you know, I'm very active in this culture. I feel a big responsibility in this culture as an elder. The frustrating part is that, you know, when we say the word community, it's very important to understand that we are the community, and it's frustrating when people want to come together all of a sudden. Why? I mean, we've had these conversations many times, and sometimes it's like all of a sudden this entity comes in and everybody wants to make it right. We had all these years to make it right. We're just not doing it right, and that's why community has to stick together and really have these conversations in these platforms. Once again, and also thank you guys for providing this platform, because this is information that we can have conversations with when we go in with our brothers and sisters and the people in the community. But I really think that it's a great thing. The Olympics is going to be dope. We all know that. We all know how dope breaking is. I do world championships, maybe 10 to 15 a year. I see the top of the line, top. The world is going to get blown away when we see this in the Olympics. I know that. But you're right. How are we protected? Is this appropriation? Are we going to get something taken from us? Are we going to get exploited? We have to stick together as a community and really confront those issues and bring in our lawyers, bring in our people that are going to protect us as artists, protect our children, and so forth. I think that's great.
And also push the ones that want to do it on their own. You want to do it on your own? Boom, you're not involved. We have to do that. And it's horrible, but there are going to be some people who just, you know, they're going to go outside of it. And you know what? If we form this and we do it, you know. And yeah, I haven't been in the business for a long time. My son has been, and I've been watching him for a long time. And you know, I believe that I can bring something to this, you know, as a business owner, as you know, as the leader of Dynamic Rockers, that we just, you know, man, African Bambaataa called us the astronauts of breakdancing. That's who we were. We changed it from the floor to the air. We changed it. And then the people that came behind us were hybrids of their elegant, classy, incredible footwork and their freezes and all that, the way that they were. They were good at what they were. And we were good at what we were. And so were they. And, I think that people need to, he wants to come back and because he has a lot to say too. Actually has a lot to say. He traveled and did a lot. And if we're all together edifying each other and respecting each other, right? That's the thing, that you guys watch us disrespect each other. And we're not doing that anymore. I'm just not doing that anymore. Because I couldn't have done it without him. I couldn't have done it without you. Every week you guys made me want to practice. I used to scrape my face on concrete to just beat you guys. I would have a scab, and the next day I would open up the scab again until I finally got the moves. So, we can do this. We can do this. We can take care of our people and form a foundation that we can help other people. Insurance, all kind of different things. Why not us? Why not?
All right. Anybody in the audience have a question?
He always got a question.
Anybody except Speedy? Okay, guys, Speedy.
Yeah, I just wanted you guys to share with me because I kind of missed that part of the era. I guess because where I was at coming up. So maybe you can elaborate more of how it all became what it was. Does that make sense?
You gotta start with him,
Like,
then him,
yeah, I want to get a better vision of how this all became because there were so many other crews. Why your crew? Why Rocksteady? You know what I'm saying? How did that all come together?
I think I understand what you're trying to say. So, and I mentioned this to you earlier about Take One. Take One was integral in the connection of us.
You need his mic.
Get closer.
Yeah, the mic. Switch mic.
Get closer. Okay. All right.
So, I sat down with Henry 10 years ago and I had a long talk with him. I did an interview with him because I wanted to remember things about that time period. Long story short, Take got us, we went to war right now. We were writing our trains and doing things like that. And Take introduced us to Henry and we started frequenting Henry's spot. And we were B-boys, you know what I'm saying? So that Village Voice graffiti rock performance showcase, that showcased MCing, DJ, breaking, and writing with the Campus by T-Kid, that catapulted us into a different clientele. We're from uptown Bronx, where Manhattan, beautiful Manhattan Bronx connection. But what happened was the village scene. So we started connecting with some of Henry's people, and that is probably how we got hooked up with not only the Lincoln Center, but all those showcases and things that were happening in the village, like the Mud Club and the Kitchen, the Ritz, all these places. We were in new areas, so these people had connections and resources. So I would have to say that is how it kind of catapulted itself. Yes, there were tons of groups, there was groups out there, but we were a little bit more organized, and we had people that were connected. That's what it was.
We also dressed, which they hated, and Texas, you guys hated it too. They just called us faggots and all that stuff. We would dress to that generation. We did. Where we had, I had, what's the fuchsia, whatever, fuchsia, whatever hair, and we had the rebel pants and the moccasins, and we were battling that. We were completely different than everybody else. We didn't give a crap. We were like walking around, with the music that was coming in, Blondie and all that. We were there with that. So that attracted people to the end. And so we also used to do shows. And we had routines, like a whole routine and shows and acting and the whole thing. So that's what brought people to the end. And then we started getting crazy with moves and stuff and all that too. And we used to battle each other. Like we're the Manhattan division. We were, the Majestic 4, and then there was 36th Avenue. That's a spinner number. And those were the two best divisions. We had another one with Sarge in Brooklyn. We had crazy people all over the place. And we used to battle each other, like crew against crew. And so that's how we learned. And that's how when I did the windmills and caught myself. That's when Freeze did the headspin and caught himself. They saw me catching and he started doing it to the headspins, to the continuous. That's when he saw me doing the glide, and when I let go. So we used to battle each other, like we would beat each other. You know, I did windmills in the way Vélez came with no hands the next week, because he was a freak. You know, and he was probably one of the only people that could battle up with footwork. You know, and Spittle was pretty good too. I mean, I wasn't that good. I had a good character and a lot of, other things and moves, but they had incredible footwork, freezes, and, they definitely had the style that everybody liked. And that was their niche, and ours was the different niche. We started creating different things in the air. And so that's how and then they saw us, and they had both, because they grew up with you guys too, right? They knew you guys, so they had footwork, and then they started spinning too, and doing all kind of crazy things.
You're the hybrids.
The hybrids, yeah, that's what I call it. And they, I'll tell you, Tex hated me, and then he calls me about giving me an award, and I'm like, who's this? And he's Tex. I'm like, yeah, you hate me. It's like, nah, man, you actually made us practice every day. I hated you for that. And so, and that's how we did it. We pushed each other. Every week we got better because we were going to meet each other. And we were going to let the other team, get away with it. That's how it was. Not, hey, you go. Let me spit the bottle. See who goes first. What the hell is that? And why don't we stop that? If you're running a thing, stop that. I mean, tell them. If whoever goes first, if there's a tie, you win. Why can't we just do that? Bring it back. First of all, that brings the fire. There's no fire when they dance. It's like a dance show. Yes, they're battling, but if there's more fire, like going first, and going at the person, that's what this is about. Man, if you got in a circle with dynamic, like all of us would take it. We'd all jump on it. We'd make you quit dancing. Alright? Any other questions? Nemesis.
Can I use the mic? Hello to everybody out there. How you doing? I'm going to say some things before I pose my question, just so that it's understood and better clarity real quick. And I want to say I got mad respect for everybody up there. And what I'm about to say, I want it not to be taken as disrespect or I'm coming at y'all or anything like that. But I want to know, why do y'all feel, or some of you feel, because I'm going to speak more from the sentiment that Kenny spoke from as to why do you want to organize now when we had all this time? And I'm coming from that sentiment is because I've been breaking for 25 years, right? Actually 24 years I consider that, but in my first adolescence I didn't know what I was doing. But I've been in this community doing events, teaching, all of the sorts, for 20 years, I'm going to say, or more in that. And I'm not trying to disrespect you guys' time, but how long did you stay active in your time, I'm trying to understand, why would you think that you should have a say into something that's so much bigger than so much bigger than our community right now? Because they see the art form for what it is, they like it, they want to come into it, right? But if we was already set up and had organizations, unified, doing these certain things, there wouldn't be a need for a whole nother organization of a group of people to come in and try to, use it or take over and, use it for what they want. I want to think, why do y'all feel like y'all have the know-it-all, the wherewithal to actually pull something together such grand, so big as to run an organization such as something like that?
If it's just you guys, it's incomplete.
No. Understand me. When I say that, that doesn't mean that I'm excluding you either. I'm just saying these jobs, being a lawyer, that's a profession. Marketing, that's a profession. You know what I'm saying? Organizing, administrating, that's a profession, just like a lot of us are dancers. I'm not saying we're all these one-dimensional things, but is it our profession is what I'm saying. Is that what we actually want to do is what I'm saying. So you have a lot of people who have been contributed to the community and this cultural aspect at the same time, here and abroad at the same time, and still continue to do so. Why would you feel like, okay, we gotta have this say-so and to give our input into how things should go and how things should be? You understand what I'm saying? When you had a period of time, you not doing this anymore, and things to keep going. No, let me finish real quick, Glyde. And I'm not gonna say like, you did your thing and now it's our time, because without you guys, there would be no us. You understand what I'm saying? Without you guys taking it worldwide, there would be nobody else doing this. Without you guys, it wouldn't even actually exist or keep going from when its inception. I want to actually know, why do you feel like you have this say in a way when at times when things are coming together right now, it's like, oh, this is the time. When the time was when we didn't have anything, is what I'm saying.
A is because of the egos of you guys and the older guys. Like everybody wants to know better, and we deserve it, and this and that. And that's a good question. Do we? Me, I danced till I was 40. So I just, in the last couple of years, the last 20 years I haven't been around, but the first 20 I have. So, and I did a lot. You know, there was a time it was just me and my son in Miami. And I went to, you know, what's his name's, back to Mecca. And, you know, I was in there battling with King L and Ansel. I was in the circle with them too. And you came up to me and said, what?
Right.
You got really good, Glyde, huh?
Right.
Yeah, I was in there. And so it was my whole life. And it still is my whole life. And I lived through him. And I'm not saying that I'm coming in to step on your shoes. I'm coming in to be next to you and give you my wisdom and to hear yours. And together, we can do this. And to answer your question, you guys haven't done shit with it. You haven't. You've had the time and the opportunity. Maybe we
can I rebuttal to that?
Yeah, I mean, you haven't done what needs to be done either. None of us have.
I would like to rebuttal to that.
Absolutely.
All right. One, I'm going to say I'm not speaking in reference to myself as to say that I have an ego. Personally, I don't. I'm just speaking for.
I'm not saying you, the generation. Okay. They don't want to hear from the old, and the old doesn't want to hear from the new. It's both of us with our egos instead of making it about the culture.
I got you.
And I would rather do it with you instead of taking it away from you, and you take it away from me.
Right. Now, when you say we haven't done anything with it, and that's where I'm going to disagree and push back on you, where it's a cohesive competition of assortment of things happening worldwide. There are people that are talking to each other worldwide and actually working together to make things happen. I want to say, let me just rebuttal. I want to say that because of that cohesiveness is why you have a Red Bull involved. Because of that cohesiveness is why you have a Monster involved now. Because of that cohesiveness is why you see other smaller or sponsors come inside, dip in and out. It's just that we haven't found that correct organization and actually coming together to have it. It's just a bunch of big sideshows that's happening around the world. Whereas that wasn't happening before. So what I could say is it has been a transition throughout time where it's more organized in terms of competition. And that's what's kind of been keeping the thing going for everybody.
I agree with that, but I think
so. I just want to rebuttal on what you're saying that we haven't done anything with it. Where
well, now what needs to be done? You've done plenty. You guys are doing a lot of stuff.
Agreed.
But here's something. That battle over there, that's in Europe, and these guys get tons of money. We should boycott that, and we're not doing stuff like that. They're paying $1,000 to the champion when they're making hundreds of thousands. That's not the culture I want to be part of. They're making millions of dollars, and we're accepting that.
I don't know what you're speaking of.
What's the name of that? Battle of the Year? Is that the name of it?
Battle of the Year, Battle of the World.
Do they pay you well? Battle of the Year?
You haven't went through that. Good for you.
All right, let me just mention something real quick, and then you guys can jump on this real quick. So, see, the thing is, see, this is where we go wrong sometimes. We start putting blame in certain areas, and we start separating ourselves from each other.
Yo, give him your mic so I can hear him. Switch mic. His mic is louder. Yeah, I need to hear you.
1, 2. 1, 2.
Yeah.
I think that this hustle has been consistent with some. We always hustle. We always hustle. We made it happen. I mentioned that earlier, that we sustained this, right? I think a lot of people are trying to make things happen. We need to really realize, because this is all about resources and funding. It's about money. When everybody got the great ideas, one person will pop up and say, where are we going to get the money for this? And everybody's going to be silent, wondering where the hell we're going to get the money for this. So this is where it starts, but that's why it's about having that balance. I do believe I've worked with corporates since 1980, the first Rocksteady tours. New York City back tour, we worked with big corporate stores in Paris. We were the professionals at that time, and we understood that we can make money with this, and we started putting value on people. We were just too young. So we suffered the blows to all this for many, many years, and a lot of people couldn't take it and left. You know, I happened to stick around there and do this thing to the university. But I really think that the efforts are there, you know, and we really just really need to acknowledge each other, you know what I mean, one way or another. Everybody has something to give, everybody has an idea. We need to really place value on our ideas and our words. We need to stay quiet until someone cuts us a check for being a consultant and say, we want to know what you know. Everybody's spilling their guts and not getting a check. We are the culture, one more time. So my whole thing is that it's about, you know, like, I don't feel like I deserve anything because I'm from the old school, but I was a part of an era that got beat up in the 80s. I was that group that got really beat up. We were the ones that did the bigger things, you know, record label stuff. So my take on it is, you know, I see the 90s, the 2000s, I've seen the roller coaster of this, but we're dealing with the same problems, you know. And I think the opportunities are there now, but once again, it's about ownership. It's about branding ourselves and being ready for these moments. And right now, everybody's just excited, and nobody's really thinking about how to protect each other in this new journey.
I get it. There's a lot of people that haven't even done anything back in the days. They were just around. And, you know, they want recognition and stuff like that. And I don't want no recognition. I want the dream that I had to come true, where everybody here can make money. Like, where people stop telling you, you can't dance for a living. And you give them a trick record. I could dance for a living. I'm still dancing for a living. Right? And that's what we need to be. We need to dance for a living. We need to create jobs for our community. And maybe we know some connections that you guys know. So the more we connect, the more connections we have. That's why some of us are coming back. I don't think everybody should come back in here. I think some of the people, you know, like, who are you? Why are you here? What did you do? Why are you arguing? Who cares? We want to grow. That's what we need to be. We need to be more involved in this, not arguing. I don't care. You know, I've seen what you've done. I think that you deserve to be a part of it. I've seen that you've done work. My son has done a lot of work.
I just think, you know, there's just a lot of frustration. You know, again, like Kenny was saying, you know, it's quick to point where the blame is. You know what I'm saying? But first, we need to get together and discuss that and create solutions. You know? So, you know, there was time we could have done stuff. A lot of us didn't know how to do it. You know, I feel like you guys did your part. You guys took the dance around the world, changing everybody's lives. You know, that in itself is a big thing. That's not easy to do. You know, so for real, I commend you guys. 40 years later, look, you know, there's no battle. I know that I did a long time ago that we're going to talk about like this. You know, this battle is legendary. So I think we all thank you guys for making this happen. So thank you guys for this opportunity. Thank you for sharing. Thank you, Jojo. So I believe we're going to open up for a Cypher so that everybody can get a chance. I know everybody has questions, but again, you know, we still have, you know, some time to show what the real dance is. Do you have time for another question? Or? All right, one more.
So guys were dancing and sleeping in my mom's house, right? 15 deep, right? And remembering at 11 years old going to the LincolnCenter and seeing, like, you guys were the enemy. You know, like, when we were talking, you guys were the enemy. And I want to congratulate you and congratulate my sister, who is one of the original B girls, right, in LincolnCenter, and that you have helped this dance evolve, okay? Without you guys being against each other, there would be no So You Could Think You Could Dance, there would be no international breakdancing. You know, we started hip hop. You know, this was the start of hip hop, but it's like when you're a rapper, you get phased out if you're not continuing with your grind, right? So, like, as you were saying, you have to be more organized, and you have droplets here and there in different places where you have groups that pop up and then they fall off, right? Because you don't have the foundation to be able to sustain, right? So I think you're really saying really important things that people need to listen to. Like, you can have the art, but if you don't have the management and you don't have the organization, you're not going to really go anywhere. So I think that what you're saying is very valuable. Congratulations, you know, and you guys can sit next to each other, you know, as brothers and talk about it because it was a historical event, and I was really proud that I was able to be a part of that. So there you go.
There you have it. You have any more questions?
Right over here.
Huh? No, we gotta break it down now. Short time.
Thank you guys for having us, man. It was a pleasure, man. We had to talk about this and hope that we brought some questions in your mind of, what are we gonna do next? That's all. Just remember that word, next.
That's what I asked in Miami.
Let's do it. Thank you guys. We're back now for DJ Brooks.
Yo, you gotta pay me to go down, bro.